Hi everybody, we're back again, and I know you missed me, right? I've not been here for a while. So we came today to make a Bûche De Noël, or a Christmas log, a Yule log. It's a great addition to your Christmas table, so I really hope you enjoy it. The Yule log basically, well, my Yule log has three major components. One is the cake, which I'm gonna do first so we can get out of the way. And then the other two are the filling for the inside and the ganache for the outside. Now the ganache for the outside is not always necessary, but I think it adds like a really nice texture. It makes it look more like a log. So you can leave that step out if you want, but I like to include it. So we're gonna start with the cake. And it's a simple sponge cake, like a foam sponge cake. I use it all the time. I could modify it to be like ladyfinger sponge and do tiramisu, all of those things. But I start with 4 whole eggs. Now, you're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to break eggs one at a time in case one is bad, so you don't spoil all. But I don't know. I don't like rules. So 4 eggs in here, and I just add a half a cup of sugar, and this has to whip until it becomes the foam base of the cake. So, but that we might most likely cut out most of this, but oh well. Okay, so we've beaten it for about 3 minutes, if so long. And it gets to this kind of very light, very fluffy sort of consistency, hence the name foam cake, because this is like a foam. And I'm gonna start back the mixer and just look carefully. You'll see that it doesn't get stiff peaks like a meringue does, but it gets kind of firm. And that's where you know you can stop there and add in your flour. So watch. Like, you can see how firm it is. Woo! Okay, oh well. It's not Christmas baking in my house unless I make a hot mess. So said, so done. But yeah, it's pretty thick, and that's how you know you're ready. It's not exactly liquidy, it's still very thick. Don't put your beaters too far because you're gonna need it for the whipped cream filling. All I'm gonna do now is sift in half a cup of flour and half a cup of cocoa powder. You could use straight 1 cup of flour if you don't want a chocolate cake, but Yule log, I always go with a chocolate cake. So just gonna sift these fellas in here. I'm trying not to make a mess. There was bets made before about this mess. All you're gonna do is fold in. Now you don't take a spoon and like violently mix it, because then you're gonna like pop all the air bubbles that you tried so hard to put in. So you're just gonna use a spatula and fold the flour in. So this is a cake that has no fat, so it has no butter, no oil, and it also has no baking powder, no rising agent. So that's normal for this kind of cake. And that actually adds to the fact that you could roll it into the log shape, because if you had those things, like, yes, it would still be able to move, but it wouldn't have the same texture and consistency as the foam cake. So we're gonna bake it in here. I just like to sprinkle a little sugar to the bottom. You can grease it first and put your sugar, but you don't have to. And now you're not trying to make too thick of a cake because it is being rolled. The cake, when it's thinner, is actually easier to work with. A thicker cake, you might get a roll like the size of your head if you do it too thick. I probably should have used a smaller tray, but oh well. And all I do is give it a little shake like that, and it sort of settles itself, and then you put it in an oven at 350 degrees for, well, my oven takes about 15 minutes, so let's hope this one takes about the same. So while that's in the oven, we're gonna take this chance to do the filling and the ganache. The ganache is pretty simple. All I do is, I have 1 cup of chocolate chips here, and I just cover it with enough cream. So I had a cup of cream here, and it turns out that this is like, I'd say 3/4 of a cup that I actually used. Right. And all I do is pop this in the microwave for 30 seconds at a time and mix, take out and mix every time, and then until it's melted and combined, right? Okay, so this is the first 30 seconds I gave it, and you can see it's already starting to melt a little bit. Just gonna give it a nice mix. I guess the power of your microwave will depend on how quick this gets done, so we'll see. So clearly Badawi's microwave is very powerful, because there we go. 1 minute later, and we have ganache. And I like to do the ganache a little before the time that I actually have to use it, because at this point you can see it's very liquidy, right? And you can't really work with it at this amount of runniness with what we want to do with it. So all you do is you take it, you set it aside, you could put some cling on the top, and just wait for it to cool down a little bit. And next, we're going to do our whipped cream, which is the filling. Now, filling-wise, you could do many things. You could do frosting, you could do whipped cream, you could do mousse, you could do custard, you could do anything that you want as your filling. It's the same like a Swiss roll. You could put jam in it if you wanted. You could put a mixture of those things. But I'm going to go the simplest one, the easiest one to make. So when you're in a pinch and you want to get this done quick, and you know you're going by your friend and you want to take it as your potluck item, this is the one. This is the easiest one. So a little whipped cream and you're done. And I'm just going to add a little bit of sugar. That was about 1/4 cup. This was 1/2 cup. Okay, so I just want to add a little bit of ice and sugar to this for 2 reasons. One, I tasted it when it's half whipped here and it's not sweet enough yet. And 2, because ice and sugar does have some amount of cornstarch in it, and that cornstarch is actually going to help stabilize this. So win-win, right? 1/2 tablespoon is half a cup is 8 tablespoons, and I used 6 out of that. So 6 tablespoons and then 2. So 2 tablespoons of ice and sugar and 6 of the regular sugar. There we go. That was 15 minutes. So it's important at this point to work quickly, because you just have to sugar the top. Enough sugar. The only way you get the cake to roll without cracking is to roll it while it's still hot. Usually all I do is take another piece of parchment around the same size. And we're gonna just gently roll the cake while it is still hot. You have to wait for it to cool down a little bit, but rolling it while it is still hot right out the oven is the most important step of getting the roll right. So our cake is not 100% cool. I'm rushing the brush a little bit, but almost there. You don't want it hot, because obviously if it's hot, it's going to melt the cream, and then you're gonna get like a big floppy mess. But we could work with it a little warm the way it is now, and you can see like it's kept the shape quite well. So all we're gonna do is unroll this bad boy just a little bit. You see, when you roll it hot, it keeps this nice roll. And you see, we have like a little crack here, but we don't have a big break in the cake itself. And that's what you're looking for. So we're gonna unroll him a little more and start filling and rolling at the same time, because I don't want to have him spoil the shape, really. And now, like, I have a friend who did this and literally used Betty Crocker frosting, and it tastes good still. So if you feel like you don't want to make a filling from scratch, you really don't have to.
So what are you saying about Betty Crocker? You like a troll shade to Betty
No, man, I'm not throwing no listen.
But that's okay. Like
So,
shade.
no, I'm not throwing no shade. You know why? We had a discussion at work in Barbados the other day about chefs who just eat terribly, which is all chefs. If you feel chefs just eat good, you lie. And all chefs have an embarrassing thing that they like. And one of my girlfriends in work had like price smart cake. And the other one, what she like? Chefette something. And then mine is like some Betty Crocker frosting though. Like if I didn't make it, I will eat it. So Betty Crocker frosting, I am not throwing shade. If you want to use it, the one that whipped is even better, you know? Or you can re-whip the regular one yourself. No shade at all.
I like price smart cake.
Price smart cake fake, no.
What I say about me?
And you can see he's a nice roll there on both sides, and you're just gonna put him back in the paper. Roll him back up, and you want to put this in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes just so that it could set up a little bit. The cream will set a little more while it's in there. So 5-10 minutes, and then we'll come and finish it. Our Yule log has been chilling for about 10 minutes. I won't lie, I might have stuck it in the freezer for 5 of those minutes, but that's just because I want to finish this because I'm excited to show you all how to do it. Now, at this point, you can leave it as it is, but I don't know if you've ever seen any of them online that they cut. So you have like a perfect view of like your roll, and that extra that you cut off, I cheat and I make it like a second log on the side here and then cover it with the ganache so you can't see it. So we're gonna try to do that. I'm just gonna put some ganache. Now, I don't put a lot because, again, ganache is pretty strong. It's also pretty sweet. And I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so we have chocolate on almost all of the Yule log. And all I do at this point, I'm just going to take the back of a fork and just kind of make some bark looking lines through your Yule log. So at this point, you can leave it just as it is. It's fine, but I do just some very small things to make it a little more like a Yule log. And I just put some rosemary like there and there. And you could also put some on the other side just to make it look more Christmassy. You can also like dust it with icing sugar so it looks like it has snow on it. Last year when I did mine, I added some cranberries just in like the corners to look like little berries. And you could dress it up however you like, but honestly, this is, I think, really cute at this point. So our very, very pretty Yule log is done. And you could put more decorations on, you could put less, you could sprinkle your ice and sugar. And honestly, the decorations help you cover up imperfections. So win-win. The cake is still like really light and it's not too sweet. It's like just sweet enough. You can eat the whole piece comfortably. You know, it's not like too intense. Oh, it's really good. And even though there's so much whipped cream, it's like super chocolatey still. I really hope that you'll make this. It seems so complicated when you look at this finished product or one online or one that you might buy from somebody and you feel like it's such a difficult task, but it really is just 3 simple components as I broke it down, and you throw them together. This didn't even take me more than, what, an hour and a half, and most of that time it was cooling down. So I really hope that I see some photos over Christmas of people making this to take by their friends, take by their family. And well, I hope you enjoy. Thank you. I'll see you next time.